RC Underground Radio is your go-to podcast for everything RC.
Do you guys realize how much it costs to be friends with this dude?
Whether you're a dedicated racer or just getting started in the hobby, this is your show. Each episode features top-notch guests, industry leaders, and you, the racer. It's a community where listeners can learn, connect, and grow their passion for RC racing. So, grab your transmitter, buckle up, and join us on RC Underground Radio.
Say words.
Here are your hosts, Dave Brinkman, TJ Greer, and Ryan Ratzloff.
So, Derek, you've been on the show before. We talked a lot about, kind of the start of Carpies and, how you guys have really gotten to where you're at. And, you just continue to expand and grow. And can you talk a little bit about it's been almost a year since you've been on.
Yeah.
Can we talk? Obviously, we've got the energy drinks. We just discussed that a little bit. But what else is coming? If there's anything you want to talk about, and what else have you guys done in that year's time?
I'm probably can't remember everything, but a couple of the big things recently we've done is we became title sponsor for all three of the PRW Carpet Oval Pan Car races. So they have the Putnam Memorial, which is actually next week. We're title sponsor for that. We're title sponsor for the Winter Blast, as well as I can't even remember the third one. There's a third race, but the Putnam Memorial and the Winter Blast are the two main ones, and so we were able to acquire sponsorship for that. The biggest thing is, what kind of taco places do you guys have down there?
Oh, hey, buddy, you come to town, I'll bring a darn taco truck right to the track.
Yeah.
There's actually one less than a mile from my house that goes to a gas station, and there's more cars there for the tacos than the gas station. It's pretty funny.
It's not that surprising, to be honest.
Oh, it's good stuff. It's authentic. It's really good.
We live for tacos here.
There's the next Carpy shirt.
Yeah.
Carpies. We live for tacos.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll race for tacos.
We'll race for tacos.
You can have that one. I'll give you that one free.
We actually went to the Carpet Oval Nationals the end of last carpet season, so probably springtime. Is in Ohio, and they brought a taco truck for that race. They bought a taco truck to come down and sling some street tacos, so there's a pretty nice taste to it. Definitely drew us there.
I was just saying, glad you talked about that, because I'm going to go down there and talk to them, I think. Would that be fun, Ryan? Huh?
I think so, yeah. Definitely have a taco truck show up and everybody just load up. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're hoping to have some big hitters like, Murph Dog's talking about coming, and JP Trickle getting back behind a controller. And then we've got some big dogs that race around this area. So, and then we got Ryan, and throw him in the mix.
Field filler.
Maybe I'll have to.
He's a winner.
I'll have to do a little more practice this year with the 1RC, so I don't get too embarrassed.
That's all right.
Yeah. What track did you say you guys have? Is it the foam track? You said
it's we have a foam track. It's 26 feet long, 24 feet wide. She gets going. We're running 2.4 laps.
Yeah,
around it. So we get scooting.
Yeah. Nice. I never ran on the foam track. Have you? What's the big difference between that and the carpet track, handling wise?
Honestly, for me, the foam actually rubbers up quite a bit. It grips up, and carpet. Some guys will run that CRC carpet. Some other guys will run like office carpet. Office carpet just really gets really dirty. It loses a lot of grip. Honestly, I've run the CRC office and foam, and I don't do much with setup changes. I think the biggest thing that I'll do, like on foam, is just soften up that right rear and get that car to plant and squat on the right rear so you get the drive off. Beyond that, that's about it. Just keep your tires from glazing up and you're good to go.
Yeah, the biggest fun for me, being a track owner, is that it's like real racing. It changes throughout the day. Like typically when we start out, it's a little slick, a little slippery, and it literally starts, we call it rubber in. It's not really rubbering in, but we call it that. And by midday, guys got to watch it because traction roll, we do allow tire cleaner. So like Awesome Sauce is prevalent. Everybody pretty much picks that as their choice. And, by the time it starts laying on the track and then laying on the tires, you'll start to fight a traction roll issue. It can bring its. We had some guys that had no traction issue until we got into the feature, which was 150 laps. And, they sauced up right before. So getting about 60, 70 laps, all of a sudden it comes into the mix. But again, it's kind of cool because if you have a guy who is just, dominating, he's not dominating anymore, and he's got to change his run line or he's got to change his entry into the corner. He's got to back it up sooner. So it throws a wrench. And it started to hit in the C main. And we had a couple of guys that were a few laps down. The leader started having traction roll. They finished 1, 2, it was a 100-lap B main or C main. And they finished 1, 2, 3, and it was a pass for the lead coming out of 4.
Oh, really?
To win it at the line, and only 2 cars transferred. So it was that was like race of the year so far. It was amazing. But again, it's just because the track actually changed during the race. And Ryan can probably, like I say, talk more to that just because he's racing it more than I actually race it. So
yeah, that's kind of like how our local track is because we run pan cars there too. So. It's kind of like a bullring pan car track. I think it's somewhere around 100-foot run line total. But for the 1RC, they split the infield, so we run half the track for the 1RC.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
That's a good idea.
The turn 1 and 2 is all rubbered in from the foam pan cars. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 handle completely different. And 1 and 2 you'll go in and you'll towards the end of the night, it'll start bicycling or traction rolling. I know with the EDM, that's when we first started running 1RC with, and it would go in and you'd almost bicycle that whole corner. It was super fun.
Yeah. So let's expand on that a little bit. How many different types of RC cars do you have and get an opportunity to race?
I don't own any of them anymore other than my one RC. So, we used to race, my dad started in the 80s. I got into it mid 90s. We kind of took a hiatus early 2000s, 2005-ish. Then we recently got back into it, 2000, around the time I started Carpy. So 2012, 2013. Well, I got back into it. He didn't really want anything to do with it. But a year or two went by and he was back into it. And then I started getting busy with the shop. So he kind of runs the whole program as far as the cars, maintenance, all that stuff. I'm just a hired driver.
Nice.
I like to refer to myself as like a Paul Menard, Not very good, but I got a guaranteed ride.
That's all that matters, man. You can get it done that way.
But yeah, I usually run 2 pan cars, sometimes 3. We run two 10 scale classes, and we have a 12 scale oval car. And I have the 1RC late model. I have an EDM. We don't really run it anymore. And I have a foam tire sprint car, but we don't really get out with that much either. We had a phase with that, but it wasn't for us.
Yeah, the late models are just tough to beat, right? Because you can bang up, but you can bang a little bit, thump doors and so forth. So that's super, super fun.
The asphalt modified cars look awesome, though.
Yeah,
that
they're
has
rowdy.
to be. Yeah, you guys have them up there?
Oh yeah. You guys did a wrap for me on one.
Oh yeah.
In my signature style. That is a badass looking car, man. Everything about them, they're just so much fun to run. Mm-hmm. Once you get them set up and dialed in and working, they're just an absolute blast. Definitely pick one up for $200 some bucks.
I bought one to make the template, and I took it apart to get all the body panels off, and there was 7,000 screws, and I just never put it back together.
Yeah,
right.
I actually broke the servo in mine. Took a pretty hard hit, and I've literally just kept it on the shelf. It looks so cool, but I don't want to pull it all apart because you're right. It is a pain to get that car apart.
I'd rather just spend another $200 and get a new one.
Right. Yeah, I had mine all apart too to paint because I bought it clear and I'm painting it and all this stuff. And And then I'm trying to remember how to put it back together. And so many times I'm like, I'm just going to bring it in and let Ryan do it. And I'm like, no, he'll never let me live that down.
No, I would
have
never.
to
No.
do this.
Yeah.
I was sending him pictures and hoping he'd go, oh, no, that doesn't go there. That goes there. He's just like, finish it.
Yeah.
There's some issues with it, but fix it. Find it and fix it.
I'll tell you that is some of the, at least in my opinion, with wraps and things like that, like it's pulling the car apart. You guys just did a rock steady body for me for my SC mod that I'm taking to Chili Bowl, and it's like I put the car all together, paint it, fit it, the whole 9 yards, and then I got to pull it back apart so I can do the wrap. It's just like the amount of labor that goes. I had kind of a new appreciation for like people that actually do this stuff a lot more than I had, because it's like, wow, this is a ton of work. I mean, had I known, I would have just shipped the entire body down to Mo and said, here you go, buddy. Do me up. Here's $100 bill. Like, let's get this done. Because, it's a ton of work. I mean, even on the small ones. But good news is it, with your wraps, it's good quality vinyl. So, you use a little bit of water, just mist it on. You can kind of pull it off as you need to if you kind of screwed up or whatever. So, that definitely helps a ton.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second, Derek. So that's the way we do it. What is your recommended kind of process of once the wrap arrives?
It all kind of depends on the body. Like the 1RCs and some of those thicker, like I guess they're 10 scale, but 8 scale, like real dense, like shark bodies or something. Those ones, they're pretty solid mass. So I typically don't use water. The vinyl is an air release vinyl, so it's pretty forgiving as far as peeling up unless you've really squeegeed it down. And if you get bubbles due to the air release technology in the vinyl, you're able to push it out relatively easy more times than not. With like pan car bodies and some of those where they're really thin, like trying to push the wrap on, the body's starting to flex, and it's a real pain. So, with that, a little mist doesn't hurt. People do it both ways. I don't mist it mainly because with the bodies we install them and put them right in the box. And I'm always afraid, with that moisture in there, like if it rubs up too much, starts to peel, you have those problems. Sure. So we at the shop, we just do them dry, but yeah, you can do it either way.
So I'm always interested about that conversation. Like, why do some tracks make it and other tracks don't? Now, you brought up a key point, and let me know if I'm getting this right. Are you saying there's too many classes?
Yeah, definitely too many classes overall. I think like if we have like 12 classes here, like 8 or 9 of them are Traxxas classes. I'm all for beginner classes, but I don't think there's a need for 8 of them. So I think that's a lot of what. If tracks are doing that, I think that's what's killing them.
So it's that then there's only 4 or 5 in a class. It goes on till midnight. Yep. I'm assuming that's some of the issues where you could consolidate some of this stuff. Sure, it's not going to be all big fish in a little pond in 7 of the 8 divisions. Guys are going to have to race for it. I think promoters, promoters get nervous that if not enough people are winning, they're not going to come and we're going to lose them. So let's slice the pie really thin and everybody can be a hero. Am I kind of on target with that? Is that what's happening?
That's exactly right. I'm all for, spec classes, cheaper racing, but there's just certain points where it's like, okay, this is too much. We have Mud Boss and Tree Stock, in my opinion, they're, a stepping stone class. Like they're one of the cheaper classes. They're pretty much stock. I think they're a class where you start out in and move your way up. I just don't think there's a need for like Bandit Sprint Car, all this other stuff. It's cool, but not when you're staying out until 3 a.m. for 10 Traxxas classes.
Right. And I think, if, and hopefully, there's some track promoters maybe doing this that will hear this. And once they hear it out loud, maybe it makes more sense to them because, you want, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, an exciting class is when there's a lot of cars. Like Attitude Raceway, they in their street stock division, there's 40 plus cars. I only qualified 12th, but I felt like a rock star because there was 40 cars, right? It was just fantastic. Now, if there was 12 cars and I was 12th, that wouldn't be so exciting anymore. But, when you can get those bigger classes, I think maybe promoters, what they're fearful of, they're not thinking it through, because the couple of cars that you might save on this end, you're going to lose a lot more cars, because the number one thing I hear from people is how late the show goes. We're out there racing until 11, 11:30. You said 3 in the morning. That doesn't fly. People have to get home.
Yeah.
You can run a nice tight show and be done by, it depends on what time. But, if you can run a 5 to 6 hour show, you're in good shape. But when you're running 9, 10, 11 hours, nobody's enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
How about you, Austin? What do you guys see out that way? Do you see that oversaturation of classes?
Sometimes, and it depends on the track. But like, you're right. When I go to a well-managed track and like, hey, we start at 1 in the afternoon. You can practice in the morning from 10 until 1, and then 1 we're going to race. A good track, you're out of there by 6 or 7 that night, and that's kind of what you need when you're going to go race toy cars. We have families, we have lives, we have jobs. But there's some tracks in my area, they're like, hey, we're going to start at 8 p.m., and those tracks, you're not done till 2 or 3 in the morning. And if you're traveling from an hour away, you're not in bed till 4 or 5. And that's not realistic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to juggle.
Right. What's kind of the time frame that you see, Kevin? Like what time are tracks starting? You said they end at like 1 to 3 in the morning. So what time are they starting?
Obviously, in the summertime, a lot of tracks like to start later, so we don't have to sit out in the heat all day.
Sure.
So I'd say typically around like 5, 6 in that area. I'm all for sitting at the track all day and hanging out with everybody. That's what I love doing. But man, it's whenever you're sitting out there at 3 a.m. and you're ready to go home, you're 3 hours away. It's like, man, I'm ready to go to sleep. And now.
Yeah, and again, I think the promoters, their heart is in the right place. They want to give everybody enough classes to be a dog, be a top dog if they can. But most of those people, and tell me if I'm wrong, are probably racing one class. They're sitting around a lot, right? Like, if you're running a SR10 or you're running, whatever, an entry class, you probably put your money together to do it, and you're happy and you're excited that you're RC racing. But do you want to race every 3 hours for 4 minutes, maybe?
Yeah. That's another thing. I only run SC mods. So every track I go to, I'm only running one class. Same with Chili Willie. I ran this one class. And Dustin came up to me. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? He said, I couldn't do it. I'm like, man, it's boring at times, but it's like I really get to focus on that car and that car only.
And that's exactly right, because I'm the other side. I'm the dumb one that's like, I could do 4 classes, like no problem. And I'm out there running around with my hair on fire. And I took a page out of your book a couple weeks ago, and last second I went and ran. I was like, well, I'm just going to take one sprint. And I was like panicked. I'm like, man, I'm only running one class. Is this even worth it? Let me tell you how nice it is to run one class, to focus on one car, and then you have time to actually watch racing. So it's not always the worst thing.
Yeah, I kind of went the other end of the spectrum the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm gonna get my money's worth. I'm gonna run. I ran 2 classes with one RC cars, the dirt late model and the late model, asphalt late model. But then last week I also jumped in an SR10, which was a blast, but I almost need somebody to come drive me home. I was so tired driving 3 classes and 3 rounds of heats, and this old joker was pretty wore out after all that focus, and it's crazy. It was crazy. It was fun, but I think I'm going to go back to my 1, maybe 2 classes that I'll run in a day. 3 was a little much. So if you ran other classes, Kevin, what would it be?
Man, I really want to get into the late model class.
What's that?
Yeah, I really want to get into late model class. That's one class I haven't ran, and I think that'll fit my driving style. I really want to get a midget also.
Ooh. A weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them running those at RC Chili Bowl. Those seems kind of interesting. I could see you in there, and I could see why that would be a great class. Are you going to have those at your race?
The midgets, I don't think so. Just because we got 10 classes already, I like to keep 10 the max. I'd like to have midgets at my event, probably next year, but this year I think 10 is the limit.
All right, so you're running 10 classes. What do you run in? 2 heats in a main, 3 heats in a main, qualifiers?
Yeah, so we'll do like control practice, 6 minutes each. 6 minutes each. You get 1 round of practice only, and then we get 2 heats in the main.
2 heats in the main. Perfect. So, all right, you got 10 classes. What time you starting? What time you think you'll be done?
I'll have to go back and look at the flyer. I honestly forgot. I want to say we're starting at like 5, 6. So hopefully 2 is the limit. Hopefully we're done by 2.
Okay. Not bad. All right, Austin, what else you got?
The one question I have is I'm not a huge SC mod guy just because I don't run them out here, but every time I talk to somebody that's passionate about it, like we've said, they talk about how, the class is struggling or it's dying, and, everybody has an opinion on what they should do as far as they should allow the batteries to be offset, no 4 poles, all that. In your opinion, what are 1 or maybe 3 things that you would like to see in SC mod that you think might be beneficial and kind of keep it going or, reinvigorate it?
Man, I really like the only 2 pole deal. I wouldn't mind if we went away with the 4 poles. I haven't ran one in 2 years now, so that's one of them. The battery deal, I like that. I have moved my battery over and tried it. I didn't like it, but it helps. It helps save weight on the car. You don't have to add stack weight on the left side, and then now your car weighs, 20 pounds or whatever it is. It's not a tank anymore, so it's not affecting your transmission. Or if a marshal's out there and they get hit in the leg, it's not.
Yep.
It's not so heavy.
For them.
Yeah.
Folks, are you looking to gain a 10th on the racetrack, or maybe get a few ladies like Taylor Swift in your pit stall? Well, I'm sorry to say that Carpies can't work miracles in those departments. But here's the good news. The folks at Carpies can definitely help you become the ultimate toy car nerd, just like me. How, you ask? Well, with their custom wraps and killer collection of official RC branded merch. So while they can't promise to shave a 10th off your lap time, they can save you 10% on your next order with promo code RCU10 upon checkout at carpies.com, CARPYS.com. Wrapping winners since 2013.
Papa Willie's Traction Tonic has been curing poor traction since 2016. The name says it all. If you're not popping wheelies, it's not Papa Willie's. Papa Willie's has become known across the United States on dirt oval to off-road, asphalt to concrete, carpet to hardwood, and so many other surfaces. Papa Willie's continues adding to their lineup with tonics for cold and hot weather, loose dirt to high traction, dry dirt, wet dirt, clay and abrasive surfaces, along with anti-drag bearing oil, tire cleaner, tire glue, pit accessories, and swag. You can find the complete Papa Willie's catalog at www.papawillies.net. Prepare for victory with Papa Willie's Traction Tonic.
Be sure to use promo code RCUR for 10% off your next purchase at Papa Willie's. I'm off quick. Tonight, I'm kind of running solo. No TJ, no Ryan. But luckily, I got really good guests, so somebody's going to carry this show, and it's not going to be me. I'll tell you that much. So please welcome from Twisted Lanes Drift Circuit, we've got Corey and Ashley Warrants. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us on. It's good to come and talk. Yeah. That's why I have my.
I'll never forget your guys' names because you're awesome together. For one, you can just feel You can feel the love.
That's what happens when you marry your best friend.
There you go, buddy. There you go.
We got married at an RC event called Axial Fest.
Yeah, you ever heard of that?
Come on. All right, hold it now. Hold it. We usually go 35 minutes. We're going way over now. I gotta hear this story. This story.
So have you ever heard of Axial Fest?
I have not.
Okay, well, Horizon Hobbies puts on this big event called Axial Fest. It's for axial crawlers. Andy, who is like the head guy that puts on everything, he's the one that does all the awards and does all the speaking.
He's the event coordinator.
There you go.
Yeah.
He asked her, said something about, are you guys married or when are you getting married? And she's like, well, we're engaged. And he's like, so next year, Axial Fest wedding, I'm an ordained minister. And we're like, maybe,
cool.
Just joking around. Well, halfway through the year, we were both sitting there looking, and we're like,
that would be really
that
cool.
would be cool. So we got a hold of Andy, and Andy's like, let me talk to Horizon and see if they're cool with it.
Yep.
So he talked to them, and they're like, yeah, we can do it. So we went down and in front of everybody on Friday night, got married at Axial Fest and at the big awards ceremony.
Yep.
Nobody knew except for like our friends that came down and our family came down, and they called. She went up there.
No, they called a random ticket number that was just his, and so he's like, Andy's like, you don't know what kind of prize you're gonna get, and he's like, what did I win? And he's like, you won yourself a bride. And then they started playing music, and I walked down with my dad, and Addie, our oldest, she was throwing little axial symbols I cut out of paper on my Cricut, and so she threw those down. And
our buddy drove a little Tamiya buggy. With
our rings. So,
on top of it.
Yep, he was the ring bearer. So he drove the rings down, and we got married in front of like 500 people that we really didn't know, and pouring our love for each other.
So if you ever look up on YouTube, Axial Fest Wedding, it's ours.
That's ours.
That's wild. I'm gonna look that up.
Well, see, RCing has been in our life. It's everything. All of our best friends are from the world of RCs. Mm-hmm. All of them.
Sure. And we couldn't have got one any better than Rhonda Peacock. Rhonda, we want to welcome you to the show. Welcome to the RC.
I've got a question. Ron has a passion for RC. How did this all start? Was this before you guys got in a relationship, or was this after and he just started coming home with cars? I mean, what were your thoughts on all of that?
Actually, let me share with you, because I think it's a funny story. So I knew nothing about cars. Ron really was on a race team and was helping weekends and was doing all of that. And he just decided that was taking too much away from us as newly married people and new family. And but I thought, well, I want to go to see a sprint car race. I've never, and that's what he was working on. So we went to a place called Petaluma, which is in Northern California. And it's just such a lovely family park. And, there's these huge balls that the people, you could tell the people of all nationalities, people of all places in life were just sitting there enjoying these races. And then I remember seeing a sprint car fly over the wall, and I thought, oh, he's dead. No, he was just fine. And so I was really enthralled. Well, yeah. It's a good thing he took me to Petaluma and to Chico first, because then he said, well, you have to go to where my uncle used to race. So he took me to Antioch. And so as we pull up and started walking toward the stands, they had splattered all kinds of water all over the dirt. And so as we were walking in, they had begun to race. And we were covered with splots of mud and crap.
Sounds like a great
stuff,
date night.
I was really not happy at all. And I thought, what a smart man to take me to those other two races first. And I don't think I ever, and I know I never went back to that track. But now I lost track of the question. Oh, how did he get, Ron, when I retired and then we were going to move to Madera, our pastor actually said, I have this car, and he knew how much Ron liked cars. I have this RC car that I never use. Why don't you just take it with you? And so I thought, oh, that's interesting, because Ron didn't have the ability to work on cars really anymore. And at that point, about 6 years ago. And so little did I know, he did not have an RC car until about 6 years ago. But how all of this would blossom.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I think at one point he was up over 300 cars. I mean, he's got, an entire room dedicated to it.
Absolutely.
In his man cave. Did you ever get worried about that? Did you ever say, Ron, I think you've got a bit of a problem here?
Oh, we have, knowing Ron, he gets a passion. He's had a passion for a lot of things, and then it's kind of gone by the wayside, and he's moved on to something else. And so, of course, and he's these are all, I think it's probably fair to say that this is extensions of his life. Every single one of those cars that he's made, it's an extension of his life and his creative ability. And though I don't understand it at all, I really respect. I respect the fact that, he started from one little car that was given to him. And then much like Ron, he has to find out how to take it apart and put it back together. And he reached out to people locally and suddenly, it has really blossomed into something that I never would have dreamed. Probably him either.
No doubt.
No doubt. I mean, that's so interesting. This is so fun to get this other perspective, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm just enjoying this. So, that you basically laid out, Ron's impact on the hobby, and we've talked about it many times, but how about the hobby's impact on him? Like he stepped out after he got things going, and he had said, "Hey, did you hear that, Austin's having a race in my name?" And there's been, Chieflin has had a race in his name. We're having a race in his name. Everybody honors him. And what are some kind of behind the scenes of how he's shared with you how that's, how the hobby has impacted him?
I think that it has truly given him a way to express his abilities and gifts. And, when you can't physically work on cars, this is such an accessible habit. It's it does become more expensive, but it still is a reasonably cost. What is the word? The cost is not prohibitive, and it's been a way, like I said, every single one of his cars are his creation. And so the impact on him is that he's felt very respected by you all, the people in the community, that other people appreciate his gifts and abilities in being able to create cars and then talking to people and networking. Part of his job was as an insurance investigator all day, every day. He talked to people across the United States, and he really missed that. He really missed the ability to be able to be the great communicator and know people and talk to people. And, I think that the RC community has given him back the ability to be able to talk to people all over the place. He loves that. And it really has given him a purpose that I don't know what else would have at this point in his life.
All right, everybody. We are back for season 3 here on the RC Underground Radio Show. And boy, we took some time off, but we're recharged. We are reset up. Brought on the man you saw. So if you were listening over the summer, we brought on the one, the only TJ Wild Thing Greer. TJ, thanks for being with me.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be a part of it. We'll hopefully bring a new element to the show, and we miss Ryan. I miss him dearly. He needs to be on ASAP. So, but I'm excited to be a part of it, and hopefully we can have a great time and have our guest on and see what we can bring to the table.
Cool. Well, we had some fun over the summer, huh? We did a road show out at Backyard. You got a taste of what doing a road show is like. there was a lot of people there. We had a lot of people around our booth. We introduced the booth for the first time, got some great reviews on that. Gotta say that the company that did it, just knocked it out of the park. It came out so nice. I'm so proud to have it up. Did it again at the RC Drags. So that was super fun. But what did you think of that? What did you think of your first RC Roadshow?
Oh man, it was what I expected it to be and more, I will admit, when it got down to nitty gritty, I was like, I got to focus on my program. I'm a little behind the 8-ball, but, I had a blast, man. It was fun getting some people on there, talking the stories, hearing their side of racing, where they came from, where they're going. Potentially we had some Callan on there, he was a winner the night before, so he stayed 2 nights in a row and, racing another program, for the next day. So it was good to get to some of the racers on there. And then, and the giveaway, just giving away the door prizes for, everybody that donated. That was an absolute gas, because there's nothing better than being a racer and getting something for free. You know what I mean? You literally just tell me how many cars you ran. We'll give you that many tickets and we're going to draw them out. Come get some free stuff.
Are you still craving those, the pork,
those pork nachos?
The pork nachos, buddy. Like, I've had withdrawal. Like, I can't even go back and watch the video, because when I watched that we did the food thing, those were
you had the best bite.
Out.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You had the absolute best bite.
You ain't kidding, man. You ain't kidding. And I just hope my wife isn't watching this.
Shane Sanders and his wife did a great job on those pork butts.
Oh, 5 of them.
Yeah, I'm smoking one this weekend. I got some family in town for this festival that's going on, and my grandmother had asked, she had said, I can't grill in my apartment complex, so I need you to barbecue me something. I said, say no more, Grandma. I'm going to smoke up a pork butt.
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just the people there at that track. Just the whole thing, man. Just the whole thing was super cool. Some amazing racing, amazing racers. Much like a lot of the big companies that are in the dirt world or 1RC or any of that, they've got their supportive groups. There's one consistency though, through this whole thing, and you're wearing the shirt, GFRP.
Yeah, baby. Let's
go. We got to get these guys on a show. TJ, whatever. We got to take them to dinner, whatever we got to do.
Dustin, I'm going to tag you in this video. We need to get you on the show. Okay. Yeah. I need an hour of your time. I know you're busy. I know you've got a million things going on. I know you're too cool for school, but I need an hour of your time, and let's get you on here. Let's talk about it. And let's see what we could talk about. What's the future of GFRP and 5.7 quasi speed? And see what we can get going on with you. So I'm going to tag him in this when we're done, and I'm going to get him on here.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Crater just for a minute. Cause you nailed it. Those guys are awesome. You talk about put your heart and soul into something. Like, they live it. They breathe it every second. You can tell they're so passionate about it. So fun. Yeah. You said it. We're going to have them on a show.
The story was cool too. Originally it's not the original track. The original track was in the back of Altal's backyard, then they pretty much outgrew it through COVID. They needed something to do, and they'd never raced RC cars. So they were learning as they went too. And now that they're in a bigger facility and hosting bigger races and getting race directors to come out and direct the entire race for them, Murphy came out and directed one. They had a good time with him. They care, man. They care about the program. They travel and support the other tracks. And they do it well. They bring a crew with them. They're known as the Michigan guys from Crater Nation. And they're competitive. They can bring cars that, you probably look at and say, I don't know if that's going to be it, but don't be surprised when that guy's coming up by you in an A main. But their cars are fast. They're a blast to hang out with. They're a riot 24/7. So relatable on my end, because as cool, calm, as collected I am right now, and everybody's got a wild side. So
that's right.
But we'll get them on.
Yeah. Well, we let the cat out of the bag. Been talking with those guys about doing a RC Roadshow there. So super excited to go up and do that. So that's going to be great. Crater, those guys, I like everything they do. Social media, to their branding, to their trophies, to their funny posts, to just who they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's them from beginning to end, morning to nightfall. I mean, those guys are, let's say, balls to the wall, like 110, I don't know where they get all that energy. I'd be exhausted if I were them, but they're a blast to be around, man. I love being around those guys.
It's going to be a great year, just a great year. We appreciate all the feedback you guys give us in the off season. Can't wait till the show is back. Oh my gosh, is it into September, into October yet? You have no idea how that just motivates us to want to do this deal. And obviously now with TJ on and stuff, it's going to be a wild ride, and we're glad you're with us. Oh, it's actually going to be a wild thing ride.
That's right.
Let's just make that right. Got to thank our great supporting cast of Carpies. This show is presented by Carpies and Papa Willie's. With Scooter and the gang, we thank you guys so much for the support that you give this show. And for people that maybe are new to this show, yeah, we have sponsors, but we don't take any of it. We take that money and we invest it back into the hobby, not into our hobby. We don't put it. DJ doesn't put it in his cars. I don't put it. We invest it back in the hobby to supporting races that maybe want to bring their event to the next level. So we help them with trophies. We won't give you money. So don't be calling me going, hey, will you throw $100 into? No, won't do that. It's got to go to something, right? Might give you a gift certificate to give away at a drawing. That's one way, I guess, we're giving you money. But we'll share merch. We'll help you with awards. We will help you with projects, track projects, whatever we can do. We want to help. And if there's other sponsors out there that want to get involved and say, hey, that's really cool, I'd pitch into knowing that that's what the money's being used for. 100%. We're not talking proceeds. We're talking 100%. Call him at Papa Willie's. Call Derek at Carpies. He'll tell you.
Absolutely.
It all comes in and it goes right back out. And I'll be honest with you, and then some. So
yes,
we used our budget and then some this year, but that's okay. That's okay. That's what this is designed to do. So reach out to us privately on that as well. If you do have some kind of legit project or a race you're trying to do, at minimum, we'll bring you on the show. We'll hype your race.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun when we get somebody who's, we've been doing a lot of that. Even in the off season, we've been doing that. We've had some little special shows. But yeah, if you got a track, the TJ named some tracks that are just starting out. We love that. We are here to be the voice of the hobby in any way that we can. So Awesome. Okay, everybody, again, thanks for joining us. Thanks, you Carpies. Thank you, Papa Willie's. Everybody have a great week. Enjoy the episode, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you for listening to the RC Underground Radio podcast. Please like, share, and tell your fellow racers about the show. Tune in again next week to RC Underground Radio for more RC content.